It's time to turn your life-challenging moments into life-changing messages. Welcome to the Power Lift Stories podcast, where we are interviewing women whose stories will leave you lifted up, fired up, and fueled up with hope, courage, and inspiration. We want to thank our sponsor, Powerful Journey, who helps women tell their stories, write their books, and building a profitable brand around both. Join the masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com. That is PHYLLISJENKINS.com. Now here's your host, Phyllis Jenkins.
Hello there, and happy February. For us, this is a love month, and we are all about loving your books. So whether you are loving to curl up with a good book and read it, or if you are wanting to get that book out of you that God has placed in you, we've got you covered. We have some authors today who have written some wonderful, powerful books, and we are excited to have them share about their books. And you will be able to purchase these books, curl up with them, and enjoy them like the rest of us. And we also have the authors class where you can join the class and become a published author yourself. Hi, I am Phyllis Jenkins, the founder of The Powerful Journey, where we help women write their books, tell their stories, and build a profitable brand around both. We have several programs that will help you to do that, and you can jump over to my website, phyllisjenkins.com. That's PHYLLIS, Jenkins, JENKINS.com, and just let us know which program, which class you are ready to join. But today we are jumping in with our authors, and we are so excited to have them. So I'm going to have them right now to just go around and tell you who they are, introduce themselves, and the title of their book, and then we'll come back and discuss it further. So Linda, we are going to start with you.
Hi, my name is Linda Ranson. I am an author, a public speaker. I wrote my first book last year. The name of the book is Grief, Growth, Grace, Surviving the Storm of Grief. It's a book workbook journal. So yeah.
All right, and we'll hear so much more about your book in just a moment. Donisia?
My name is Donisia Forrester, and I wrote my book, Don't Believe the Chatter. I'm an author and a public speaker because I brought my book to life because I had chatter that I was believing. And so I struggle with that, and I believe other people may struggle also. So I just want to help them get through the chatter.
Miss Colleen.
Hi, I'm Colleen Kelley, and I wrote my book, She Needed a Hero. I am a published author now and a mom of 4 kids, and I wrote my book because I was for years looking for my hero and wanted to share what I found.
That is great, and we are seeing one of your lovely daughters right behind you. So hello. And last but certainly not least, Miss Faye.
Hi, my name is Faye Curtis, and I can officially say that I am an author. My book is called The Two of Us, A Sister's Love, and I was inspired just to write a book to tell you about the journeys that me and my sister went on, and they were amazing.
They were amazing, and I can assure you that all of these books are a great read indeed. I want to ask you, ladies, we probably have listeners in the audience who would love to write their book, and they might let fear or some other things keep them from writing the books. So if you would just share what challenges or obstacles did you face while writing your book?
For me, Linda, my initial challenge was started. I was scared. It was a new territory for me, unfamiliar territory for me. I had never really thought about writing a book. And then I joined the master class, and Miss Phyllis asked me about the author's class. So it was like a gentle push that I needed to kind of get out of my comfort zone. But outside of that, just making the first step, and that was just writing a letter, just writing the first sentence. The next thing for me was the format. What did I want to write about? How did I want it to look like? What I wanted it to look like. And then worried about if people were going to love it, if it was going to speak to them the way that I wrote it and wanted it to minister to them.
That's good. That's good. Donisia, would you share, please?
I wanted to write a book, but I didn't know how to. So it was not by happen chance that I met Phyllis at a prayer. We were at prayer, and I'm thinking, Lord, I want to write a book. And Phyllis was supposed to be there to help me write the book, not knowing that that connection was going to be made at prayer service. And from that point, I started going to the class. And then I thought, do I have enough words to say to put in a book? And that was another thing is, okay, do I have enough words? And the words will come as you write, the words will come. Just get your words out from your head onto the paper, from the invisible to the visible. And then Phyllis navigated me through that process.
Love that. Thank you. Colleen.
Actually, Phyllis tricked me into writing this book. I had a friend that told me, he said, I know this librarian and she does this thing. And so I showed up at the Powerful Journey conference expecting a small thing, and it was not a small thing. It was the most amazing day, getting to see other women and not feel alone. And at the end of the conference, they separated into two groups. One was public speaking, sharing your story in front of other people as motivational. And the other group was for writing books. And so I was not going to be the motivational speaker. So I went to the other group and I snuck in, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and this piece of paper comes by, and I go to college. And so I knew an attendance sheet when I saw one, and I wrote my name down because it was for attendance. And it was not for attendance. It was to sign up to write a book. And so that was God. He knew I wasn't paying attention, and he knew my story needed to get out there. So he made it happen. And so that was the biggest hurdle. Once, I'm not a quitter. So once I had my name down, I decided I was going to do this thing. And it was hard initially just writing, but once I got going, it just poured out. God was there, and Phyllis, and getting to meet every month was amazing. And it just happened a lot easier than I'd ever dreamed.
Well, you are definitely right when you say you are not a quitter. And once they read your book, they will see time after time after time where you did not give up. So very, very good, very good. And Miss Faye, let me just say to y'all, Faye just became a published author like this week, right, Faye? You just got your book.
Yeah.
So we are so excited for you, and I'm going to let you answer the question. And then after Faye, I'll let each of you just share briefly about your experience with the Powerful Journey Authors Academy. Formerly it was the Master Class, and now it is the Authors Academy. So Faye, take it away.
So my mother, which happened to be Miss Phyllis's best friend, was a part of the Powerful Journey. And I've always, sat at the women's conferences and heard Miss Phyllis say, you do have a story. Everybody has a story to tell. And I never really thought about it. I was just like, okay, I'm just here to support my mother. Well, it just turns out that I did have a story to tell. And when I had an epiphany one day when I had to do the prayer for a conference for Miss Phyllis. And I heard God say, it's time for your story. So at that point, I knew it was time to write and get started. And God gave me the vision to talk about my sister. And so from there, it started. I wrote down the title and I just got going. But then I had a writer's block because there were memories that I suppressed. And I called Miss Phyllis one day. I said, I can't do this. I can't do this because these emotions are way too much. It's too much for me. So I love the analogy that she gave me. She told me to sit in my chair, relax, and breathe, and vision someone sitting in front of you wanting to hear your story, wanting for you to get to the finish line and get that book done. So from there, from that day on, I started to write. Even when I was in bed, I had my phone and I used the notes off of my phone, and God would give me something else and I would just write that down. And then the next morning I'd go put it on the computer. And so it was back and forth from the bed to the computer. So it was a good journey, but I got it finished. And so now I have a book.
Absolutely. And again, all of the books are a great read, and you will see how to get their books in the show notes at the end of this podcast. But now I would like to just go individually. And Linda, did I have you answer that question?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out. We're going to jump down to Colleen and have Colleen to just share about your book. Colleen, if you would give the title of your book and give the backstory. Why did you write this particular book? And then I'd like for you to share, because each of these authors will be speaking at our April 16th and 17th Powerful Journey Women's Conference, and they will either share a message or share a workshop from their book. So what I'd like for you to do, Colleen, is to let our listeners know what 3 key points they will leave with once they have attended your workshop. So if you would share now, please.
All right. I wrote my book. It's called She Needed a Hero. And it really started, I got to a point in my life where I was homeless. I'd left a domestic violence situation, and I had my 3 kids, and I was pregnant with my 4th, and I was homeless. And I was, just crying out to God, I don't know what to do right now. And God picked me up, and within 6 months, I was buying a house, and then I was enrolling in college, and God didn't stop there. You would think, that's just a great ending to the story, but God didn't stop there. He helped me build a company to where now I buy properties, safe houses for domestic violence survivors. Since they need somewhere to go, that's why so many women don't leave. They don't have a place to go. And then God with my college, he didn't just say, just get a business degree, to just go get something small. He put me in there, and I'll graduate in May with a degree in electrical engineering. God just picked me up and took me farther than I ever dreamed. And he just, all through my life in writing this book, I saw so many chances, so many times that he built resilience in me and helped and picked me up again and again, even if I didn't see it, and put things in my heart that I needed to hear. And so my class is on building resilience. And we're going to talk about, determining if this is something you're in control of, or if God's in control of it. And also how to renew your soul in the midst of chaos. And what to do when you're in for the fight of your life. And then another big thing that occurred to me, or that I just saw in writing my book, is, do I see myself the way God sees me? And I think a lot of us, we don't see anything close to what God sees in us. And if we saw what God saw in us, our lives would just be so much better. So I really, how to build someone up and make them resilient.
Absolutely love that. And again, we're cheering you on. Congratulations for getting so close to the graduation, and we will cheer you across that finish line just like we did with your book. We are looking forward to the conference with your workshop on resilience, and just so grateful to God for you turning those life challenging moments into a life changing message where we can not only read about it, but we'll also be hearing about it at the conference. So Colleen Kelley, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And next we will move over to Miss Faye Curtis. If you would share about your book and your message and what points they will walk away with from the conference.
Sure. My book is called The Two of Us, A Sister's Love. And my book is going to help people realize that to make take those precious moments and hold them close to your heart. You have moments in your life, but you need to cherish them and hold on to them. And then the other thing is that life is too short to hold grudges. You need to forgive as God is forgiving you and move on. Enjoy life. And then the third thing I want people to realize is that speak affirmations over your life. When you come to the conference, you're going to walk away and say, I am a survivor. You can survive anything with God's help and with people that he places in your life so you can move forward.
Very beautifully said, very beautifully said. And I will tell you that Faye's book will touch just about every emotion that you have. So you'll cry, you'll laugh, you'll go, oh my goodness, did they really do that? So just another great read indeed. And is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners about your book or the conference?
Yes, I'll give you a little tidbit from the book. If anybody remembers the cartoon George of the Jungle, we reenacted that scene at home. And we tied a couple of sheets together and swung through the trees saying, watch out for that tree. But one of us did not make it onto the pillow and ended up laying on the concrete floor. And as you know, concrete is hard. So that was funny. We couldn't check on my sister for laughing. So.
And I will tell you, embedded in this book are many stories like that. So a great read indeed. And as Faye said, don't take relationships for granted. There's a chapter where you will need tissues to wipe your tears as you are reading through this book. So Faye, thank you so much for turning your life challenging moments into a life-changing message that will be here for us to read and for others for generation after generation. And we look forward to hearing more at the conference as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Donisia Forrester, let's hear about your book.
My book is Don't Believe the Chatter.
Hold it up a little bit more so they can see it. There we are. A little bit more. There we are. Great, great, great.
This book originated from a speech I gave. I was in a competition and I spoke on this Don't Believe the Chatter, and I brought to life about my chatter because I had an internal struggle that was crippling me. So when I competed and I came in third place in the district, I didn't want my speech to die. So I wanted to put it in book form, and I did. And when someone pick up my book, I want them to, number one, identify his or her chatter. Identify what is your chatter. And number two, identify where did it come from. Because some things come from a parent saying dang things that they shouldn't have said to the child, and you're living out that and you're walking in that. Or it could be a friend or someone, a teacher that said something that was very hurtful. And once we identify where it came from, then we want to find out the truth. Because in order to be free, you got to know the truth about whatever it is. Freedom is a byproduct of knowing the truth. And when you read my book, it's once you read it, then the application of it is identify it, then identify the source where it comes from, and embrace the truth. Because you got to center yourself in truth. And once you walk in truth, you become free. And nothing like being free. When you're free indeed.
Right.
Amen, amen. Very, very well spoken. And of course, we all have chatter that we've said to ourselves or to others. And Donisia's book hits it right on the head. I absolutely love it. Looking forward to hearing more at the conference. And again, her book will be listed in the show notes where you can order, but you can also get it. All of these books you will be able to get at the conference. They will personally autograph the books. They will write a special note to you and even take a picture if you'd like. So we look forward to seeing and each of them with their books and launching their book signings. So thank you so much, Donisia. And now we will talk to Miss Linda Ranson.
Well, the name of my book, again, is Grief, Growth, Grace. It's a Surviving the Storm of Grief workbook and journal. This book was actually birthed after losing my 18-year-old daughter to a car accident. So basically it started out the growth or the grief process that I went through after losing her, but it involved in all of the different deaths that I've had since really 2014 or before. I am that person that have lost those three major people in your life. I've lost a spouse, I've lost a child, and I've also lost both of my parents. So basically this book is basically walking you through that grieving process, starting with the grief, identifying the grief, accepting the grief, sitting in that grief, but also being able to pick yourself up, having the tools and understanding of how to pick yourself up and move from the grief to the growth process. Mm-hmm. So in the workshop, we would basically talk about the 6 stepping stones along the journey of purpose, because in doing the growth process, there's some inner dealings that you have to deal with yourself, right? You have to kind of shed some things about yourself in order to be able to get what God has for you. So we'll go through those stepping stones of purpose, and then we'll move into the grace of God's grace. Basically identifying your purpose. Why are you here? Knowing that, yes, I started in the grief process and I've gone all the way through to be able to accept God's grace. I'm able to, not saying that you're not going to have bad days. You will have bad days, things will happen to you, but knowing how to pick yourself up and move through that process and stay in the grace of God. So that's basically what the workshop is going to be about. The book is a great read. It tells you in depth the emotions that I went through, but how I kind of came out on the other side. So the ending for me is letting people know that there is life after grief.
Thank you, Linda. And I must say, you are a courageous young woman. So many of us, I don't know, would have been able to do what you've done. And you have definitely turned your grief into a platform, actually, where you are reaching out and helping and encouraging others. And I just want to say to each of you that that's exactly what God calls us to do, that these experiences that we have gone through are not for us. They're not for us to keep to ourselves. They are for us to go to release and to help someone else. And you have certainly done that. And again, such a courageous woman you are. And another great read we have. Looking forward to the workshop, and just knowing that our attendees at the conference, whether it's virtual or whether it is in person, will be able to walk away with hope, with encouragement, and with inspiration, with motivation from each of you. And again, that's what the powerful journey is all about. It's about lifting others up, encouraging others, and letting them know that they're not alone, that they might think that they're walking a lonely road that no one else has walked, but each of you have stepped up to share that no, you're not the only one that has gone through that. I've gone through it, and let me tell you my story. Let me tell you what God has done for me, and what he has done for me, he will do for you as well. So again, I just want to applaud each of you. Great reads. You're on your road to writing more books. Indeed, this is just your first book, so very excited. And before we say goodbye to our listeners, is there anything that either of you would like to add?
Miss Phyllis, I would like to add something.
Absolutely.
More importantly about, and I'll show you again, the two of us, I want people to really understand that you have sisters that not necessarily are your blood sisters. God will bring people in your life that you can call your godly sisters, that will be there, that will lift you up, that will help you, encourage you. And in the book, you're going to realize the things that I went through of the loss of my best friend, which was my sister. God replaced that with other sisters in my life because I was committed to him and I was faithful and did exactly what he told me to do to help me through it. So in the book, you'll see some scriptures, you'll see some prayers that you can hold on to. There are things that can help you. And that's why at the end of the conference, everybody, I want them to say, I am a survivor, because you can survive anything that comes your way as long as you have the will and grace of God.
So beautifully said. And yes, we are survivors, and each of you have stepped up to show indeed that you are survivors. But you're not wanting that to be a short train. You are wanting to bring other sisters along on the ride with you. And for that, I applaud each of you. Well, you've heard it today. You have heard from our authors. We've talked briefly about the conference. It is April 16th and 17th, a 2-day conference this year, which we are so very excited about. It is virtual and in person. I must tell you that because of COVID, we are limited to our in-person. So if you are planning to come out and support these beautiful authors, go on and register, because once we reach that cutoff point, which is only 100, we are used to having many more than that. So once we reach that, though, we'll have to cut it off because of the the rules that we're needing to follow. So if you are wanting to come out and support them in person, go over to phyllisjenkins.com, PhyllisJenkins, and register for the conference. And in the show notes below, we'll also have more info of how you can reach out to each of the authors that you've heard today as well. So thank you again for joining us. And again, as I mentioned at the top of the interview, this is February, the month of February, the love month, and we are loving on books this month. So we will have more authors and more wonderful books for you to read as well. So authors, thank each of you for coming on today, and we will look forward to seeing you at the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. If you are interested in being on the show, go to phyllisjenkins.com. You can also sign up for the Powerful Journey Masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com.